Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. Welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the Sola Busca Tarot. This is the new one out by Lo Scarabeo, and as you can see, it says museum quality. And that is because it is the same size as the original Sola Busca that is in a museum. I believe it's in London. I can't remember now. But I also want to talk about that in connection with this book, The Game of Saturn, and it's called Decoding the Sola Busca Tarocchi. This is as you can see, it's huge. It's bigger than normal paper size. A huge book. I just finished it yesterday because I got the Sola Busca. I actually received the book a week before I received the deck. I had the deck on pre-order for I think almost a year. It is considered a historical deck. And that's why I got it. I don't know if I will use it ever for client readings. I got it more the historicalness of it and as a study deck to study tarot and where it came from before, the Golden Dawn. Okay. Let's talk about the book first. So again, the book is called The Game of Saturn. Huge, hefty book. It's very heavy. The pages, it's very high quality paper stock. This book is an exploration, that's what I'll call it, into what the cards mean. And actually, I think I'll talk about it while I show the cards. So let's backtrack. So museum quality, Sola Busca Tarot, beautiful box. Lifts up like that. There is a book inside. Because it's Lo Scarabeo, it is multiple languages. And the book does go into a little bit of the history of the deck and briefly into the symbolism. But this is not, like most people, when they think of tarot, they'll think of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, or the Aleister Crowley deck, the Thoth Tarot. So this predates that by a few hundred years. The Sola Busca is the first full 78 card tarot deck where all the cards were illustrated. So the minors aren't just pip cards where it just has the symbols of the suit like coins or batons or wands or swords. They are all fully illustrated. So the book, The Game of Saturn, is an exploration into what all those illustrations mean. What is it encoding? That's what it's called, Decoding the Sola Busca. What is it? And it really goes into, the writer, the author, Peter Mark Adams, really did a lot of research. He had to research Roman history, Carthaginian history, Italian history, right? Before it was Italy, when it was city-states, mythologies of all those countries, peoples, areas, to really break apart the symbolism in the deck. Like, what is it showing? And it's titled The Game of Saturn because the conclusions, and a lot of it is because it's exploring this, it's conjecture, but a lot of the research backs the conclusions, but they're not set in stone, right? Because we don't know exactly who created this for sure. It's not in writing anywhere, and no one wrote a guidebook for this when it was created. But it does encode a lot of the occult practices of the cult of Ammon-Saturn, which is the Carthaginian Saturn. That's just a brief summary. So that summarizes the book. But let's look at the cards. So they are the museum size, which is 5.7 inches by 3 inches. So it's a huge deck. The backs, this is the only thing, the backs. They are shiny cards. It looks like just pink dots on a black background. I don't know if that was the original back of the original created deck. Or not. I tried to do some research on that. I have not yet found anything on that. It's not in either of the books. So the little book that came with the deck. But for me, it doesn't fit. And I know there's another Sola Busca out there. I think it's sold by Tarot Collectibles. And the back is different. But why not use you can't see that on screen because the light's not bright enough, but there's a beautiful, like, maybe you can see it on the box. There's a beautiful, yeah, you can kind of see it. This beautiful, I can get the light to reflect, like textured background with the pink foliage, the ornate foliage. That would have been a better back, I think, than this. So that's my only, my only thing I don't really like about the deck. Now, because this is believed to be an encoded occult grimoire, so to speak, I don't know how well it's going to do in readings. Again, I've only had the deck for a month. I wanted to read the full book first before really working with it. So I can't really give like a full review how the deck works. I may come back and do that again. But let's just flip through the cards, take a look at them, see what's here. So this would be the Fool. And I put the Fool in front. It was in a different position before. They have different names. So Panfilio, Postumio, or Postumo, Lempio. So I'm just going to flip through just to give you an idea, for those who are interested, what the cards look like. It is mostly male figures. Many of these figures either come from, well, that's another thing in the book. The author uses the word polysemy, which is things have multiple meanings, basically. The characters have, there's layers of meanings in the cards, basically. So many of the characters may look like Roman soldiers, famous Roman soldiers. Some are from the Italian Renaissance area. Many are drawn from the time of Alexander the Great, or the Alexandrian Romance literature. But they do demonstrate, spiritual or occult practices. And so you can't read this if you're having the Rider-Waite-Smith or the Thoth deck imagery in mind completely. You can kind of see a little bit with the minors, but the majors, it's like a completely different system, because the purpose of creating the deck, again, this is conjecture, this is from the book, was to encode occult practices, or an occult practice, or various occult practices. So you can see how the minors are illustrated. So those were the swords. Now the queens do have female figures, and there is, I believe, one minor with a female figure. So here we have wands. Just a quick flip through for you, because I know you can look online for the pictures. Into the quartz. The queen. And there are some coat of arms in the cards that give some clues as to who and why this deck was created. So this is one of the few female figures in the minors. I think it's the only one. And I was going to say, there's more that I see it than I read in the book. And the book, The Game of Saturn, isn't a guidebook where it goes card by card. It's really exploring the deck and the symbolism. So it doesn't go through every single card, but he does talk about this one. And I think he missed, it wasn't in the book at least, the linea negra there, which means she's pregnant. And he didn't mention that in the book. So as I work with this deck, as I use it as a study tool, I'm going to see what comes through with that card. So you can see the immolation and occult practice. And I will say that for those who are thinking about getting this deck, and you're interested in getting the book too, which you can get at scarletimprint.com, it's not, you know, high spirituality, or you could say white occult practice, you know, if you're thinking of, you know, the polarity there. It's dark. It's dark. And even says demonic in the book. So keep that in mind if you're interested in getting this deck. Okay, so that's a full flip through there. Just a quick one for you guys, because again, you can see all the pictures online. A little discussion of the Sola Busca deck. In the game of Saturn, you know, he's pretty emphatic about saying that there's no Christian imagery in this deck, even though it comes from Renaissance Italy, because it very much is about the secret, the underground, occult, esoteric practices of the elite. Though in this book, the little book that comes with the deck, they do mention like the Three of Swords, that there is a little bit of Christian iconography or symbolism in the deck. I have not seen it in what little I have worked with it. Again, I've only had the deck for about a month. And mostly I was reading the book because I wanted to read that first before I dove into the deck deeper. So that is interesting. And that is how earlier decks, well, no, that's not correct. Some of the earlier historical decks, they definitely have a Christian influence. So this one definitely does not. And I do see tarot as a tool of Christian mysticism, but that is very much influenced by, you know, the Rider-Waite-Smith and what came out of the Golden Dawn. So yeah, this is an interesting deck. I'm looking forward to working with it more. And just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it is new and a lot of people are talking about it and thinking of getting it. But if you're thinking it's just a normal, another, you know, standard tarot deck, it's not. It's predates by a few hundred years the Golden Dawn and the RWS, or the Rider-Waite-Smith, and the Thoth and the Crowley decks, which a majority of the decks nowadays are based upon. So keep that in mind. But I am further. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed this little discussion on the Sola Busca Tarot. Let me know if you'd like an in-depth review after I've been able to study and work with the deck for a while in the comments below. Otherwise, share this with someone whom you think who might be interested in it, who's interested in the deck and wants to check it out. Maybe I'll post this on some of the Facebook groups. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, and I'll see you back here soon.